First off, I want to apologize if I sound kind of nasally. We're at the draining stage of the cold. The fun part. But I didn't want to talk about something yesterday, and I kind of got sidetracked because of some of the issues that I've been having and trying to scan my artwork. So we're going to do that one this time. Now, on last week's Lean Into Artcast, which was about reading, watching, playing, which is where they were discussing some of their things, that some of the shows they're watching, the books they're reading, the games they're playing, and the music they were listening to. There was kind of an offhand comment where Jersey was talking about supporting characters, and I kind of timed in the chat, and this is one of those things that wasn't read to the audience. I'm pretty sure if I ever meet Jersey in person, I'm introducing myself as Shadowing Trunks is in the chat. Pleased to meet you. But I'd said that I liked the idea of, we talked about how we liked having a supporting cast for the characters who weren't superheroes, and seeing how they react and having their own character arcs and everything else. I kind of chimed in the chat that I like the idea of superheroes, of kind of civilians acting as a support for the characters. And he said, well, we kind of agree, but for different reasons. I'm not really sure what that means, but maybe I wasn't paying attention well enough at that point. I'm cold to do that to you. But it got me to thinking how many superheroes I've created back when I was doing that Galactic Adventures thing, where the hero does tell somebody that, yes, they are a superhero. And that was one of the cool things that I found out about Jaime Reyes, the third Blue Beetle, that in fact he did tell his family and his two closest friends that he was a superhero now. And I liked the fact that Superman had John Martha Kent as Superboy before Crisis on Infinite Earths, and as Superman after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And especially in the Superman the Animated Series, he could, when he had some issue that was confusing him, and something that, kind of moral question or responsibility question, something that comes out from being a superhero, he could go to somebody who is kind of outside the superhero thinking and get a different perspective, get some advice. And I thought that was really good. And that's kind of what I've given a lot of the superheroes they're created for that, and a lot of superheroes that are in my head now that I want to create. Or family member or close friend or girlfriend or spouse, whatever, and who knows their identity and can, offer advice or just be a sounding board or help them maintain their secret identity to the rest of the world, or just somebody to help control the insanity. I mean, I was kind of hoping Peter Parker had Mary Jane to confide in and talk to and think things out with, who has a different perspective than he did. And so that's one thing that was really messed up by the Spider-Man marriage. And at the same time, he had, when Aunt May found out that he was Spider-Man, that was also, he also had that perspective as well. And I was really glad to hear those things, and I'm sorry that in different ways they've both been kind of taken out of continuity, because it gave Peter a little bit of sanity in kind of the insane world that comes with being a superhero. And at the same time, you've got who else? Who am I thinking of? All right, I always thought that instead of having Harry Osborn become the next Green Goblin and then die, why not have him come to grips with things, with who his father was, trying to build the company up better, and then actually being part of Spider-Man's support team. Somebody who's helping him improve the I'm sorry, improve the web formula and improve his gadgets, kind of like what's being done now. But instead of Peter running the place like he's supposed to be the next Tony Stark, he's actually getting help from somebody else, but still being the everyman that we all like him today. Yes. So, and I'm not saying you have to do that. I mean, there were a couple superheroes that I didn't do that, and there was one where I kind of forced it, but I was like, he really had no reason to tell this guy that he had superpowers now, but at the same time, I kind of like the idea of the thing was just kind of like ingrained, just kind of subconscious with me, that I wanted to give the superheroes non-superhero allies, so somebody I could talk to that wasn't just another superhero. I mean, there's things you can talk about better with other superheroes. There's things you can talk about better with just your normal friends. It's kind of like, you look at everything that's made of a superhero. Part policeman, part rescue worker, part firefighter, part military. Everything that superhero is. You can talk about things you can talk about with your friends, but there are things that you kind of rather talk about with your friends who aren't in that field. Maybe they don't quite understand, so that's why you got the super friends, but you also have the non-super friends for just being a part of life. And I've just been really drawn to that idea. So, I mean, that's something to think about. I mean, maybe you don't, not writing a superhero story. Maybe it's just, somebody who goes into a fantasy world, now and then. And maybe they have somebody that they can confide in, somebody that's about, Scott Christian Salva's The Dreamland Chronicles. Back in the normal world, the hero has his brother and a scientist who's been studying his sleep issues. And they're kind of his confidants in the real world. And then he also has his friends, of course, in Dreamland, who he's actually fighting with. And now you've got this alternate perspective, somebody who's sitting on the outside, who's not directly involved in the conflict. And they might see things that you miss and offer advice or just moral support. And it's something to think about if you're doing that kind of story where it's a normal person who gets put into extraordinary circumstances, and you can't really share it with the rest of the world because for whatever reason. But maybe you have one or two people that you really trust, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a cousin, just somebody that you can discuss these things with and kind of reconnect with the normal world apart from this extraordinary thing that you're a part of. Just something to think about. It's something that I find myself doing a lot in superhero stories I've created and the ones that I want to create. Like one of the stories that's kind of in the forefront of my head lately, he tells his best friend and his girlfriend, both of whom can actually aid him in his career, but in his superhero life, but in different ways. At the same time, they can also help him reconnect with the normal world and let him live just a normal life when he's not out fighting mad scientists and supervillains and everything else. So like I said, just something to think about. Something that I realized I do a lot, a big supporter of. Just might be something interesting to do with your stories. But that's about all I got to say on that. So if you want to follow more, see what other people are saying about their art experiences, what they've been doing that day, or just something they've been thinking about for story ideas or just the business end of things or whatever else, you can go to twitter.com, look for the hash, and put in the hashtag @Soundoff, and you'll see a bunch of other participants. A lot of them are very interesting. If you want to participate yourself, go to leanintoart.com/artsoundoff. And if you want to see more of my ramblings in text form, you can go to my website, which is bwspotlight.com. You'll also see any cartooning or drawing work that I do there. And there are links to other places where I post stuff. So with that, I wish you